So I think at this point, I think we're all tired of talking about COVID. We've been dealing with it the last year and a half, but obviously it did take you out of a bout. I guess what was your experience like? Did you face any issues? Was it a challenge for you at all?
It's I mean, it sucks. Like that the first time that I've ever had to pull out of a fight. It's because of COVID, and it wasn't even like I was getting tested because I felt like shit. I was getting tested because I was getting ready to leave to come out here. I literally felt like I had allergies the day that I was tested. It was a little crummy for a couple days, but nothing too crazy. I was able to, I took about a week and a half, and then hopped right back in and got back into the training camp.
Did it freak you out at all, considering like everything that you've gone through in your career with your health and that sort of thing? Did you think like, what is this going to do to me?
Well, there's so much shit out there, right? Like that you don't know. You don't know what it's going to be like, you're concerned for. I was concerned for my wife. I was concerned for my kids, and unfortunately, everybody dealt with it pretty easily, and we beat its ass.
Nice. Like you said, first time. That's incredible when you think about how long your career is, right? I mean, I guess you didn't really have a choice in this one, right? You're just not allowed to fight. So was that it took it out of your hands? When you think about, are there other fights in your career where like they're probably ones I probably shouldn't have competed in before?
There's one or two that like I'm like, the closest I've ever been to pulling out was when I fought Kamal Shalarus. I was banged up for a solid like 6 weeks leading up to that fight. My knee was the size of a grapefruit. I pulled my psoas muscle. I had my coach Martin Rooney doing like ART on it, which if anyone that's ever had like work done on their psoas, it's torture. It was a tough one. And then of course the fight right after that, I wish I had known that I had mono. And then I probably wouldn't have got the kidney infection, and that sucked. But there's a few that you roll the dice, right? Like I always tell the younger guys that I train with, and like as soon as you feel like there's that little bit of a chink in the armor, as soon as you feel the doubt, then like don't that's when we don't do it. Like a fight on short notice or something like that. Like tell them if you're asking me if you want to fight, then don't do it. Like, if you really want to do it, you won't even be asking me. Like, so, I was telling the commentating crew and Bisping that's like, I'm my own, like, worst enemy. I'm my own, I'm harder on myself than anybody else is. But there's also that supreme confidence that you have to have as a fighter. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to be confident that you'll be able to, pull through anything that happens on fight night or in the lead up. So, I bounce between those things of like being super hard on myself and then being like, hey, if I fight my fight, I'll beat anybody in the world. I wrap my arms around anybody's neck, I'm going to choke them out. So, but then also like you should have done this, you stupid ass, like you would have won that fight. So, it's you just. Sometimes, I rolled the dice and I lost, but.
Well, you're back now.
Yeah.
Changing matchup, like you just said. I mean, you believe you can compete with anybody. So did it matter a different kind of opponent? I mean, do you think, that was a much better stylistic one for me, or anything like that cross your mind?
No. I know that Sean has to ask me, like opponent change and stuff like that. But it's kind of the point where he doesn't. It's like. You're fighting this guy on that day. Okay. I see the email or I see the text and we're good to go, or I get the phone call, whatever it may be, and that's how, Joe Silva called me Jim fucking Miller, cause it was a midnight and, I get an email and, minutes later I'm getting back to him, because there's, with enough time, I'm going to be prepared for anybody. So.
Yeah. Obviously, at the end of the day, a fight's a fight, right? Anything can happen, but it does seem bizarre, right? Like you're the 38 trips and his first.
Yeah.
I mean, does that put him at like some severe disadvantage that even he doesn't realize? Like when you think about the experience that you've gained in all this time and just the comfort level and all that stuff. I mean, is he in a bad position that he doesn't even realize that he's in?
It all depends on the individual, honestly. I think the one benefit for him is that it's an Apex fight and it's not like a pay-per-view, a numbered event where you're going to have, a couple thousand people, tens of thousands of people, which is a different environment altogether. But, I envision myself in his situation. It's like, man, there's nothing to lose. So, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a guy to come out and have nothing to lose, and that's dangerous. So, how he chooses to deal with it is up to him, and like, hopefully he feels the pressure. Some people do, some people don't. Experience is a weapon. It's a tool. I've seen a vast majority of the things that can happen inside the octagon. So it'd be, tough for him to throw something at me that I haven't seen before. So, and that's a benefit to me. So, I'm not concerned with how he's going to deal with it. I got to show up on Saturday and fight my best. And I know if I do that, I'm going to get the W.
Knowing that experience level you have and that you have seen everything, do you take the time to go seek out tape on the guy, or do you worry about that at all at this point?
Most of the time I just let my coaches, especially somebody that I've seen fight, I just need to see a little bit. I let my coaches deal with it, let them work up a game plan and guide me to that, because I'm a firm believer that I should be preparing to fight to my strengths. And I've seen some other fighters in the past, and I've done it myself, either preparing for something, that doesn't occur, or preparing to enter into, your opponent's strengths and then kind of allowing the positions to happen. So when I'm preparing, I'm trying to be the best that I can be. And like, if they can throw me some nuggets here and there, oh, this is going to work, this pass, this takedown, this combination, then great, or hey, we need to worry about guillotine chokes, or we need to worry about Darce chokes, or something like that. They can guide me that way. But like, I don't want to be preparing for the guy he was 6 months ago, because man, we're professional athletes. So 6 months is a long time to make changes and to change things up and stylistically to tighten boxing up. So yeah, I just worry about getting myself into shape and being sharp, and we work on those little tweaks. But I have seen some of his videos.
He said when they approached him about this matchup, they told him it was with a veteran who might retire after this fight. Does he have some intel that we don't?
Bad intel. Eventually, yeah. I mean, eventually I'll retire. It's I feel like it's the mature thing to do, and the responsible thing to do is to be comfortable with the idea because I am 38 years old. As a lightweight, that makes me pretty old for the division. And like I said, I feel like it's the responsible thing to do is to approach it, and not just be like, oh shit, I'm not fighting anymore. Now what? But I mean, it does kind of feel like it's been a few years where it keeps getting brought up, retirement. But listen, I'm okay talking about it. I was super close in 2016 when I was sick with Lyme disease and didn't know about it. So I made concessions with it back then. Like, all right, like we could stop this at any time. So now it's really kind of easy. Like I'm already over it. I already did the hard part where I was like planning on retiring at UFC 200, and then it was like, hey, take some doxycycline twice a day, and then I went from feeling like an 80-year-old man to, a 35-year-old again. So like, it's not happening after Saturday night. I guarantee you that.
Well, we know we got that UFC 300 goal still up in the future, so we got to wait to get there. But I guess last thing for me, obviously your place in the history of the sport is secure. Your accomplishments are there. So I mean, how important is a win to you here? I mean, I know you've had a couple setbacks. So, I mean, when entering this fight, like, do you feel it's like I got to get a win tonight? This is important, or is it more just at this point, how I perform and how I feel, and did I live up to my own expectations and that sort of thing?
I mean, it's those two things are kind of the same. My expectations are to win, and that is my goal. So I mean, there is pressure. I don't focus on the past. I don't focus on the things that I could have done in previous fights. But I want to win, and I'm going to do everything in my power in the rule set to win. So, I mean, that's, and that is, me performing at my best. So they kind of go hand in hand.
Only one question for me.
Sure.
With your experience and all these fights that you've had and the way that the world is starting to open back up, what is the main thing that you miss about fight weeks that used to maybe bring joy and that you're hoping to get back to before you reach the end of the career?
Fighting in front of the fans. I know that the UFC's, they've been doing events in front of the fans the last couple months, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. So, it's tough because it's like I don't fight for anybody else. I fight for me. I fight to be satisfied in my performance, and I know that if I'm satisfied in my performance, then you might get the occasional troll shit talker, but the legends of the sport that built this sport aren't going to give me shit. But on the flip side, fighting in front of the fans, it's awesome. Hearing the roar of the crowd is awesome. It's a rush, and there's nothing else like it. So, I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why 300 is kind of there. It's not set in stone, right? But I'll be pretty old, but. I know 300 will be in front of fans, and to be able to make that walk, to and from the octagon, it'd be awesome to hear the appreciation that I hope I've earned.
And to that point, we just had Arlovsky. Granted, heavyweights are a little bit different, but he's setting maybe 45 and a half, 46. So you got time. You got plenty of time.